Jano Star, my people, this keep getting worse day by day with these people put in place to manage country and the people's affair. Imagine the tax administration of Jamaica paying over $1 billion for buildings not yet occupied. I think you could use such amount of money to own buildings instead of retrofitting of spaces so costly. This is downright evil and wickedness to a liquor economy like Jamaica. Honestly, I don't agree with the PNP and Mr. Robinson so easy on these people who are not afraid to exploit the people and to take the people for fools. The opposition need to be more resolute on these people to hold them accountable for their evil to the Jamaican. Honestly, my people, this is too much to bear on a small underperformed economy like Jamaica. What is your view on this, my people? Listen to this conversation with Mr. Powell and Julian Robinson and give your views and your opinion in the comment section below. Thank you.
I have no issue using the term retrofitting if that is the more appropriate term. That's what I'm saying. I have no problem using the term retrofitting. Right. So my question is, if it's retrofitting, what you have spent so far on retrofitting both buildings to date?
Okay. All right. Let me start with Unoccupied. The lease to date is 23 million.
Is what, sorry?
23 million. And we are at the point where we are going to start the process of putting the office in order for us to occupy, which is at a cost of estimated at roughly 30 million. The expected start date is June 10th for that work, and we expect it to be completed within 4 months. We'll be putting in counters for the service areas, and we'll be doing cabling, structured cabling to facilitate the IT network. I'm not sure which one of the definition that might fall under, but that's the extent of the work.
Sure.
Over there, right? And so we are hoping that by the third quarter we should be in that space. Because as you know, we have closed out in the original office in Unoccupied.
All right, so just to summarize, 23 million so far on the lease,
yes.
30 million to retrofit,
yes.
And you anticipate occupying the space by the third quarter of this year.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the contracts for retrofitting, have all of those gone through the procurement process, and you have
yes.
completed the procurement process for all of those?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you want to go to Mandeville?
All right, for Mandeville, to date we have spent 451 million. We are at the point of...
Is that, just to be clear, 451 on what, lease?
Lease, yes.
Lease, okay.
And we started the bidding process, and we expect that to be closed by the 29th of this month, which is tomorrow.
And the bidding process is for the retrofitting?
Right.
Okay. 29th
of May.
Of May, so
yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
A fair amount of work on the contract was done by the landlord, and they had put in elevators, bathrooms, flooring, etc. But finishing the works is going to be our main response.
And what is the anticipated cost for the retrofitting of the space?
It will probably take us somewhere close to $1 billion.
To what?
$1 billion.
1 billion to retrofit.
Yeah.
Wow. And when do you anticipate having the space ready for occupancy?
We're looking at September 2025. That's the best estimate we have right now.
Has there been...
subject to approval and so on.
I mean, just hearing what you have said, 451 on the lease, close to 1 billion retrofitting. Has there been a cost-benefit analysis done to determine whether it would have been better for the government to build its own building or to use an alternative, given the cost? Because we're talking about close to 1.5 billion for both lease and retrofitting by the time you occupy.
When we started out, we had actually pursued the acquisition of property, which we were not able to find suitable property within the confines of Mandeville. We were seeing things on the outskirts, but we were conscious of the fact that for some taxpayers, it would mean, two transport to get to anything outside of the town. We didn't find anything suitable. We also looked at other properties, and in Mandeville, we did not. Two of the constraints that affected us would have been parking, and we weren't finding the square footage or the acreage that would allow us, if we were to build out, to have the kind of parking that we need for our services. And that was how we ended up in this arrangement.
Okay. So September 2025 is, and in terms of the procurement process for the retrofitting, can you update us as to where we are with the various, 'cause I know there are a number of moving parts,
Yes.
where we are with those?
We are now, we're going to be closing off the bidding process, and the evaluation will be done, and the necessary recommendations will be made based on the selection of the person who would be successful with that bid.
But I'm assuming it's multiple different contractors, or
Yes.
is it one stand?
We got two contractors on this last round. The first round we got, I think, 4. Well, we had invited 4 initially, but on this occasion, once we went to an open bid, we got only 2 persons bidding, 2 different persons than the original 4.
Can I just ask as a general question, the buildings you have both in the corporate area and the other parishes, are they normally owned by you, or you generally lease from private individuals and then retrofit? What's the practice?
We have a mix. We have lease with UDC. We have with Air Jamaica. We own East Street. We lease from the Union in Crossroads. We own Constant Spring. We lease from the AIC, which is the old Mutual Life building. So we have a mix in
And the new Crossroads would be owned by
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Right, okay,
So we have acquired that property, so we'll be working on that.
okay. There was before I invite other members, there was a recommendation from the Auditor General in terms of your standard operating procedures that the sole responsibility for the identification of spaces for leases rests with the Director of Property Services, and that was identified as a risk. Have you taken steps to mitigate that risk in terms of the amendment of your processes?
Yes, we had taken on that recommendation because we felt that if we didn't have sufficient evidence to demonstrate that it was made at the executive level, then it meant that there's a weakness in the process.
So what is
And we
the
took
new
that on.
process now?
We have amended the SOP, and we have improved on the documentation. If that were to arise again, that we'll have a better audit trail.
So what is if you can summarize, what is the new process now?
The new process is that the property team will identify and submit options, and the executive will approve. It will come through a formal process with a form with the necessary options, and then we will select and have proper documentation to support the recommendation or the selection.
Closing out for now, this is One Avenue News. Avenue for your news, views, reviews, and much more. New spot on the block where we chat. Looking forward to meet you in the comment section. So flick the subscription button, turn on notification bell. Let's journey together. And please remember, we need solution, not confusion. United we win, my people. Art of love.